What's up guys, my name is Robin and I make stuff. Today we are talking about the things that you need and also the things that you don't need when you are just starting out with watercolor. Maybe this is brand new to you. Maybe you haven't even painted anything. You don't even know where to start. This video is going to be super helpful for you. We're going to talk about things that you should really spend money on and things that you should buy as less expensive items. Don't worry so much about those things until you get better. In the meantime, pay more attention to these things, and if you're going to spend money on something, spend it on this. I'm also going to tell you the bare minimum of what you need to get started to feel successful. I am all about helping my students feel successful as brand new baby watercolor artists. And trust me, there are so many things out there and there are a million people that are going to tell you exactly what they think you need. So I'm just going to join that group and tell you exactly what I think you need. But I really specialize in teaching brand new watercolor students and helping them feel successful. And in case you didn't know, watercolor is considered the master medium. Well, what does that mean? When it comes to difficulty, watercolor takes the cake. Of course, there are other master mediums. Oil is considered part of that master medium, but watercolor is definitely considered to be the most difficult to master for a good reason. It's challenging. It has a mind of its own, but that's also why it's so awesome and why people are drawn to it and what I want to help you fall in love with. But before you can even get to painting, you need to figure out what supplies you need. So I'm going to tell you today what I use, what I encourage most of my beginning students to start with so that you have a foundation and you can graduate into more professional grade materials. As usual, if you like hanging out with me, I love that for us. Make sure that you like this video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, today's a great day to do that. Just hit that subscribe button. All right, so here are the materials that I'm working with. Here's a bunch of watercolor paints, and here are all the paints that you don't need. Do not go out and spend hundreds of dollars on tubes of paint like this. I really encourage my students to work with a limited palette, and limited means limited. We're talking about 4 colors: ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, cadmium yellow, and burnt sienna. You can do so much with just these 4 colors, and then from there you can expand. But here's why I just use the 4 colors. Here's the thing. You saw that there are hundreds of colors. Just look at my box. There's probably 50 different colors there. Do I use those? Not so often, but I do use these all the time. You will begin to really understand how these colors work together, which ones complement each other, and which ones maybe turn gray or get muddy. And once you really understand these colors, then from there you can start adding on additional warm and cool versions of each one to expand your palette just a little bit further. Start small. Master these colors: ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, cadmium yellow, burnt sienna. That's all you need. Get these colors. The other thing I'll say is these are Cotman student grade watercolors, so they don't cost as much as professional grade. What's the difference? They have the same or similar quality pigments in them. However, they fill up the tube with fillers, chalk, things like that. And so it may be more challenging to get a darker, richer color, and you may use a little more paint. But let's talk about the cost. This student grade paint might be $7, $8 US. This professional grade cadmium yellow paint might be, let's say, $14. It really depends on where you're buying it from, but that's an average. This is going to have so much more pigment in it. This may have the same or similar pigment. These are going to have slightly different pigments. You can see on the back here, this one says pigment PY97, PY65, PY, who cares? No, if you do care, this one is PY53. And then there's, PY151, and there's a whole bunch of other pigments and stuff in here. So slightly different. When you're starting out and you have no idea what you're doing, do you think that those PYs matter? Not so much. Cadmium yellow. Cadmium yellow. Just get a cadmium yellow. This is going to be much less expensive than this. It has fillers in it, but same quality pigment or very similar. What happens when you have fillers? Well, there's, chalk and other sorts of things in there, so it doesn't get as bold and as rich as maybe this one does, but that's okay. I would much rather you not be afraid to paint with a cheaper paint, then be afraid to paint and never paint with a more expensive paint. This is Winsor Newton, a professional paint company, been around for a very, very long time, and this is their student grade paint, very much more affordable than this Daniel Smith version or even the Winsor Newton professional grade paint. Paint more. Don't be afraid to paint. This one you may be afraid to paint. This one you will not be as afraid to paint, and you will paint more. The whole goal is to get you to paint more. Let's talk about paper. Paper is one of the more important things to spend money on. I highly recommend Arch or Arches paper. It's 100% pure cotton. That's really important. This particular paper is 140 pounds. Also, fairly important. It's not going to be too flimsy. The paint is going to look beautiful on this. This pad of paper might cost $25, $30, and you're going to get 12 sheets. Well, here's a hack. When you're just starting out, paint smaller. Don't go trying to fill up this whole 9 by 12 inch area. You can take a piece of paper out of here, fold it into 4 pieces, rip it apart, and then all of a sudden you have 4 small sheets of Arches or Arch paper. Great for practicing. The other thing that I do is I buy sheets of it. This is 1/16 of a sheet of Arch paper, and this is 90 pound. So what's the difference between 90 pound and 140 pound? Well, here's a bunch of birds I drew. Here's 140 pound, and here's 190 pound. Listen to the difference. You can hear the difference. This is much more flimsy. It doesn't mean that you have to paint on 140 pound. In fact, I have all of my beginning students paint on 90 pound paper. Why is that? Well, because a full sheet, which is 22 inches by 30 inches, is maybe $7. When you break that into pieces that look like this, 1/16 of a sheet, this becomes 43 cents. 43 cents to paint on this. That's kind of a big deal. When you're talking about one piece of this 9 by 12 paper, and we'll say it's $25 for this book, that's $2 a sheet. If you paint front and back and you don't love it, you're throwing $2 away. You could paint 4 of these and also do the front and back as practice if you really wanted to, and still never reach $2. Okay, so look at that. 2 of these is like the size of this paper. You can do the math on that, but this is what I give all of my beginning students. I buy a full sheet, tear it down, and make smaller pieces that you can feel good about. And again, you'll want to paint more. If you have a $2 piece of paper, are you going to want to paint more or less than if you had a 40-cent piece of paper or even an 80-cent piece of paper, 2 of these? In addition to this, get yourself an inexpensive book of watercolor paper. Canson owns Arch. So this is not 100% cotton. It's probably 100% pulp, which is made out of wood. However, you can do all sorts of stuff on this. This is $11, maybe a little bit more now, but there's 60 sheets in here. You can paint front and back, so there's a lot that you can do. And I use this to do practices on so that I can paint something on my more expensive paper and know exactly what I'm doing. So I use this as my tester, and look it holds up really well. And it actually looks really nice. And it has a little tiny bit of texture to it. It's not going to be the exact same as cold pressed. I like having a little bit of texture. You can see there's a little tiny bit of texture on there, which is really nice. Not as much on here. It's a little more of a hot press kind of thing. It's medium. It says medium grain, but you know. And this is 98 pound paper. So very similar in weight to this 90 pound paper, but it's much smoother. Anyway, get yourself a book like this So there's less financial commitment. You're not afraid to paint in it. You can practice techniques and do things and, paint front and back. You can draw little sketches. You can do little practice pictures and really just try and figure out what you're doing. Highly recommend this, and also some nice paper, and then rip it down into smaller pieces. Brushes. Oh my gosh. Well, you could have a million brushes. There's some that aren't even in here. But here's what I would recommend that you get. You are going to need a big round brush, a small round brush, and then if you can swing it, get yourself a liner brush, and then also get yourself one flat brush. And I would say something like this. This is 3/4 inch brush, something that's a little shorter here versus these longer ones. I really like this size. And if you could swing it, I would also maybe get a smaller flat brush. So you have a large round, a large flat, a small round, a small flat, and then a liner brush. Bare minimum, the brushes I paint with the most are going to be these two. So get yourself a 16 round. I like Princeton. Their Velvet Touch series is pretty affordable, and they're really great brushes. You don't need fancy, expensive, super expensive brushes, but also don't get super duper cheap ones. Something that's kind of, affordable. And then a number 6 round. So a 16 and a 6. I use a 6 all the time. And then if you want to get a liner or a rigger brush, this is what's called a 2-knot or a 00. The 2 refers to how many zeros. The smaller the number, the smaller the brush. So 00s means pretty small. It comes to a really fine little point when it's wet. If you have extra room in your budget, get a small flat brush, a 6 or an 8 flat shader brush, and then get a 3/4 inch flat brush. Okay, so those are the brushes that I would recommend to get started with, bare minimum being these two, and then these being little extras. Okay, super simple. Well, what are you supposed to mix your paint on? You can mix it on ceramic, metal, plastic, glass if you want. I use one of these. You can get these on Amazon. In fact, I have all of this stuff on my supply list, which you can check out in the description. A plate like this I really love. I can put my basic colors on there, and I have all this area to mix it. In the very least, if you are going to be going out on the go and traveling and you have those 4 base colors, you can get yourself something like this and put those 4 colors in here. Then you have areas to mix. Alternately, they make some really great little plastic palettes, and I have areas where I can mix. Not very expensive. Don't overcomplicate it. You're also going to need a board, something to tape your paper to. You can use a masonite board. You can get an art board. I have links to something like this also in my supply list. And then you just need a roll of tape. I really like this Stick Tech tape that I get at Harbor Freight because it's less than $3 a roll. You can also use blue tape. You can use other Scotch painter type tapes. They will typically be a little bit more expensive than this. You also need some paper towels. Get some paper towels. These aren't that expensive. I also reuse mine. Let it dry out, and then you can use it all over again. So you're going to be messy at first and not understanding how much water to use. Speaking of water, I have a to-go container. I use that for my water. You can also use a collapsible dog dish. These come in a set, and they're great. They don't break, and they clean out really easily. You can clip them to something if you want. They flatten right down so you can take them with you. These are awesome. I use these all the time. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't go out and try and get something fancy. If you don't love this idea and you don't love the plastic idea and you're going to be at home, you can also use a plate. You can use any kind of ceramic plate, but make sure that it's white. So those are the basics of what you need. Don't overcomplicate it. You'll probably spend $100 to get all of this stuff, and when you tear your paper down, it's going to last you a really long time. This should encourage you to go out and paint more versus buying a bunch of really expensive gear and then feeling like you don't want to waste it. Start small, start basic, and then work your way up. Once you really understand how all these things kind of work together, then you have a foundation that you can build on. I really hope that this helped you and that you feel like you have a place to start, and you should start. What are you waiting for? Go out there and get the supplies you need. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll see you next time that I make stuff.